Hi, I am just motoring out of Viverio. I spent 2 days here. I haven't really done much in the way of video. I just stayed at anchor. I haven't even gone on shore. I've done some jobs around the boat. I meant the step had broken, which was kind of putting stress on other parts of the wood that goes around the engine, the cover for the engine, which was going to break that as well. So I spent the best part of an afternoon fixing the step so that all works quite well. I didn't have the right plywood, thickness plywood, so I've had to sort of use the existing step and some bits and patches, and it's a bit of a Heath Robinson affair, but it does seem to work. So even at my weight, and I'm a bit of a fat bastard, so that seems to be working quite well. I'm going to Cedeira, which is about 30 miles away. I've started late in the day. It's about 10:30 now, because I let the batteries die down too low and I had to let them charge up before I could start the engine, which is a bit naughty. The wind though, if it does what it's supposed to do, the wind direction at least should suit the journey. It should suit the journey, so we shouldn't be too bad. I've got 10 miles to do, and then I change course for about 250 degrees. So as I'm coming around Cape Ortagal, I think that's how you pronounce it, and that would be me rounding the first of the two capes, which is the northwest corner of Spain. There's Finisterre and Ortagal. I think I've got 3 or 4 days until the weather turns bad again. So in about today, tomorrow, the day after I want to start, I need to be thinking about finding somewhere to hide out for. I can only see 2 days worth of crappy weather on the long range forecast. My plan is to get to Corunna. There are 3 Rias in that area there, and get into one of the marinas for a couple of days. Yeah. Quite nice, isn't it? And then I'm heading out that way, out past that big rock and hang a left. So anyway, that's what I'm up to today. Yeah, fingers crossed we actually do get some wind. It's predicted again, it's predicted, I ifed and hard about going yesterday, where it was predicting 20 to 22, 18 to 22 knots. The day before was up in the 30s. So I was ifing and ahhing about going yesterday, and maybe I should have, because every time I go out when it's predicting 11 to 16, you get no wind at all. So I'm wondering if it's predicting 20 to 25 knots, whether it's 11 to 16, which would be perfect. I don't know. Right, so situation normal, all fucked up. So basically the weather forecast was utter fucking tosh again. It is a steady 18 knots, gusting up to 24, 11 to 16. No, it was about 13 for a while. That's the AIS alarm going off in the background, because I've got a fishing boat and 2 container vessels crossing in front of me. The visibility has deteriorated badly. We've got, I'm less than 3 miles from the shore. I can't see it anymore. I did put a tack in to see what would happen, see what I could make to the west, and I needed to make about 300 degrees to clear the foreland, and I could make 260. So I've now tacked again, and I'm pushing out to sea for as long as it takes until I can achieve 260 to make my waypoint. But on the plus side is when I can make 260, I can just stay on that course then, or pretty much all the way to my destination. When the wave goes, when we get to the top of there, you can just see a bit of a foreland in that direction, but that's going to disappear soon. Right, that shift to the east has helped a little bit. I've put a tack in and I'm pretty much following that container ship now, so that's quite good because he's on a course to pass that foreland. So as it stands at the moment, I will pass the foreland. However, I've gone from 18 gusting 22 knots of wind to practically no wind, 6.2 knots of wind now, and we are doing what happened before. We are actually going in the right direction, absolutely cock on the right direction, able to sail in a straight line, and now we're only doing 2 knots. So if I pass this rear, and I'm going to, because I'm just going to keep going now, this is ridiculous, I'll just plod on. If I pass this rear now, then that's it. I've got no other choice until Cedeira. And if I can't get into Cedeira, then I've got to push offshore and stay out all night, I think. Well, it's back up to 20 knots. It's just been pissing down. It's freezing cold rain as well, bastard. Visibility's close to fuck all, and I've been dodging 4 container ships and a fishing and a trawler, basically 2 trawlers and 4 container ships, and in a straight line, measuring from the entrance to the Ria that I left, this is only about 10 miles. But it's taken me until, this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm just coming up on rounding this foreland now. I've started the engine, and which has allowed me to, I can keep the sails up and I can point a bit higher, and because I was going to end up having to put another tack in, which would just be ridiculous, because it would just be another 2 hours then. So I'm going to clear this foreland in probably about the next half an hour. Finally, you can actually just about see it through the murk. There's the foreland. So I need to get around, and where I'm pointing, that's the foreland I need to get around, and the direction that I'm pointing the camera is in the direction of Cedeira. So as soon as I clear that bloody foreland, I can point the boat in a direction and just leave it then for 20 odd miles. And obviously if I can make 4 or 5 knots, then it'll take 4 or 5 hours to get there, which would be perfect. Actually, yeah, you can see the track on the chart plotter that I've had to do. Right, you can see where I've come out, tacked, tacked again, and I've actually gone backwards on myself to, like, you know, back to the middle of the Ria. So all of this effort was wasted. I went backwards on myself, almost back to where I tacked in the first place, and then I had to tack again. On the other hand, if I'd have just come straight out, I would have ended up over here before I tacked, so it didn't make any difference. So here I am now off the foreland. But look at the distance just to do this that I've had to travel just to cover this 10 miles. That's Cedeira down there. I need to clear this foreland, which is 8 miles away, and then on down to Cedeira. And I need to make 262, and in line with my experiences of what's just been happening all day today, we're back down to making 232 to, you can see it 230, 231. That's just basically pointing at the land. Whereas a few moments ago we were making 270, 264 now, but we're just meandering too much. So instead of going in this direction, we're just going to end up down here somewhere, basically. Alright, so I'm making my approach now to Carino. Oh, hello. Making my approach now to Carino. It's a commercial port, but it does have 2 visitors pontoons. But it also has anchoring on the west side of the harbour as well. I'm just going to go for the anchoring because it's just the simplest thing to do in the miserable weather. So I'm just going to move into the anchoring area as shown on the pilot book and drop the up there, as it's just a temporary stopover. It's really foggy and horrible, although I have to say the kind of does look quite nice in a way as well, although I would prefer the sun. There's the rocks coming off the cabo, and then this is where I'm heading now. That's the groin there, and can't really see the town or anything, but it's in there. I'm about 2.5 miles off at the moment. It looks closer than that, but anyway, I'm about 2.5 miles away at the moment, doing about 3.5 knots, so a bit less than an hour. Right, okay, so we're out past the cape, way past it now. It's quite windy. It's about 17.5 knots at the moment. The wind's from the west-southwest. We're going between 16, 17 knots, but it's steady. It might be building, not sure. Or it could be, I think it's more likely to be that we're just clearing land and getting the full force of the wind. Now, I'm hoping it just stays like this, because currently we're doing, we're touching 7 knots. We're doing between, I'd say 5.5 and 7 knots. It's going up and down. There's a big swell, so we've just clocked 7.3 there. Well, I'll show you now. I'm not sure if that's showing up or not. Don't know. Oh yeah, it might be. The bottom figures 5.9, 6.1. Anyway, so we are storming along. This is what the boat. I'm kind of enjoying it. The boat's enjoying it. Yeah, we're heeled right over because we're going into the wind, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but there you go. But we are sailing and at a speed that we can get somewhere. There's a cape down there. I'm hoping that the wind isn't buggering up the sound. There's a cape down there that we need to clear. I think I can make about 200 on the other tack degrees, so I'm going to spend an hour going out to sea. So at this speed, that'll be about 6 miles out to sea. Six miles out to sea, and then I'm hoping that I'll be able to tack and shape a course that will clear that cape. So I've the other camera's got wet, so I'm not sure whether that's going to survive. It's not working at the moment, so I don't know if it'll dry out. Right, what has happened was basically I was having a cracking sail out to try and tack down this coast to the next point, but basically what has happened is the clouds have come in. We've got the 98% cloud cover now. The wind has built up. It's now currently blowing a steady 21.5, and the wind has shifted. I've come around a cape and all along the northern coast. I'm turning now to go down the western coast basically. And I'm kind of halfway around the corner, which will the corner itself is about 50-60 miles to get around. But I've been going bang into the wind, which has been west, and then I've come around the corner and now it's coming south-southwest. So I'm still banging into the wind. So I thought that I would get to the corner and be able to turn and be able to actually sail in a straight line, but no, I'm still going straight into the wind. So currently I've had to drop the Genoa because we're making too much leeway with the Genoa. I've got the engine on to try and motor a bit, to hold us a bit more onto a course. I'm sailing under the mainsail and the engine at the moment, so I'm motor sailing, but I'm still kind of tacking down this bit here. I've been doing it for bloody ages and I've still got like 7.5 miles to go. So I've made about 2.5 miles of actual sort of distance in the direction I want to go. So I don't know, I'm going to give it a little while longer, but really I'm thinking that the only thing I can do is drop the mainsail and motor in a straight line directly towards my destination.